Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah said the United States would fail in its repeated attempts to hit the Islamic Republic, saying that we would be like the cat and Tom and Jerry. It's a very sad day when I agree with a dictatorship, or rather I should say Iran over my own country, but they're correct. Let me say hello to O'Donohue and to Brian. I don't expect for the stream to be that long because, political stuff on this channel tends to get overlooked. Uh, Thanks to how people have decided to appropriate what they're into. Well, Brian, apparently the Iranian supreme leader would agree with you, Ayatollah. And I'm reminded of remarks that Trump's made that I've actually titled as the title of the stream. Yeah, well, I have mixed feelings toward the reaction to that insight, but I've been really enjoying the various titles of the streams I've been putting as a result of things that supposed leaders of humanity have been quoted as saying about various circumstances. So I was quite amused. And his statement is very, very accurate. If you go back to when the U.S. back in 1953 with the CIA installed a dictatorship in Iran, and then that was reversed in the Iranian Revolution 2 decades later in 1979, to now when you have Bolton sitting up there and talking about what needs to happen there and whispering all that hawkish foreign policy, warmongering material in Trump's ear. It's all accurate. And you don't understand how much I have distaste in, backing another country over my own in terms of what its leader is saying and advocating. But it's very conducive to what is being done here. You see a lot of these modern day American officials that have to do with how we interact with other countries. They have this concept of what's called American exceptionalism, to where they believe that the U.S. in pretty much every instance is the way for things to be. And look, there's a difference between saying, you know what, I don't like how this country is over here, but they're, as long as they keep this basic idea in place and they do it themselves, we'll abide by whatever is over there. No, instead you have the U.S. feeling the need to intervene and interject and stick its nose and nostrils into every conflict that's ever been imaginable. Whether that's the regime change in Iran, as I mentioned to you, that happened back in 1953 with the CIA, or the regime change that many people are suspecting the Trump administration, with Bolton as national security advisor, are trying to push forward with. And it's I'm gonna tell you like it is. For those of you who are over there calling yourselves supporters of peace and diplomacy, it would be much more peaceful to leave North Korea alone than try to oust its leader. And ask yourself, when have you ever known of any ousting or regime change that was without bloodshed? I can think of very little. So it's a sad set of events, because I really hate the fact that we have to get these titles that kind of ensnare us into thinking about things, like how both of you guys came in here talking about Tom and Jerry. And look, it's a funny expression that he put out there, but I want people to understand the core point of what he's saying. He's telling us the U.S., like the cat and Tom and Jerry, is going to try to change Iran, or rather attack the Islamic Republic, and will fail over and over and over again. And he mentions the economic, political, and propaganda ways we've been trying to do this, and how we just haven't been successful. And it's so amusing, because you sit here and you think to yourself, I didn't know that cartoon was notable over in Iran. You never really think to yourself what people know of what. Just what shows can somebody express familiarity with. And I would think the leader of that country wouldn't have time to go and watch that and use it in his political rebuttals to how things are going on internationally. So I'm very amused, entertained, and it's it's not a lighthearted story at all because it's very dangerous what's being done by the U.S. toward Iran and toward many of these other countries that they seek to impose American exceptionalism in. But it is very satisfying to at least see someone mock the way things are because, as I said earlier, when everyone came in here and started talking about that cartoon, they thought of it as a joke, and all this back and forth and kindergarten like rhetoric, it is a joke, but it's accompanied by things which can prove fatal for those that don't take it seriously. And that's something that wasn't done in this past presidential election. That's something that hasn't been done in a while. We too often get caught up in rhetoric and how people look to take things into account. I can only hope that we change this course, but given the fact that I suspect we're only halfway through Trump's first term, I don't think we'll be changing our views anytime soon.